Welcome to my flower garden. The rain has stopped, so let's talk about what I've got growing. Oh, I realized the other day I've showed you, a lot of overviews of my flowers, but I've never talked about them individually. I have some herbs, I have just some ornamental flowers, so let's check it out. First, next to the driveway, we have a knockout rose bush. I think this thing's been growing maybe like 7 or 8 years, and it got some kind of fungus this year. I sprayed it with several different things, apple cider vinegar, diluted apple cider vinegar. I sprayed it with neem oil and sprayed it with P5, and it's finally getting new growth that doesn't look bad. But it gave its fungus to the zinnias, as you can see. So anyway, there's some zinnias. You've seen a lot of my zinnias. I started these from seed back in the early spring, and I set them out, I guess Mayish, early May, late April. And that is 9 zinnia plants. I planted them in 3 clumps. There's a clump of 3. These guys are falling over. That's a clump of 3. And then these guys right here with that pretty lavender one is back there. That's probably one of my favorites. Friend on there. There we go. Yeah, see how they get pink, but they start out kind of lavender like that one. And then these yellow ones, these are actually yellow. In the fall, they've started to turn pink. See how it's almost kind of orange? But yep, those zinnias have been going. I planted them in May. They probably didn't start blooming till like late June, and they've been going ever since. And I've thoroughly enjoyed them. I love them. I'll definitely plant them again. Okay, next, down on the ground, here is some Coneflower or Echinacea that I started from seed at the same time I started the zinnias. And it won't flower till next year. This is its first year, but it has some really big, beautiful foliage. If you look under my rose bush, you'll see I've got some wild violets going on underneath there. Yes, I dug this one out of my yard, planted it, and of course they spread, and if you don't have loads of time to manage them, they will overtake your entire flower bed. And then right here we have some more wild flowers I've dug out of my yard. This is a buttercup. They bloomed beautifully in the spring. They were huge. They also have a ribosome, so they like to spread. So unless you have tons of time, don't dig these suckers up, because it takes time to manage them. And then there is a late calendula coming. Well, it's not late. It's from where the other calendula reseeded. And so there it is. Some calendula, a dandelion over there I'm letting grow. I feed it to my rabbits, as you know. And then coming on over, I've got some pansies that I started just a few weeks back. And then this came out of a wildflower pollinator mix that I sowed early spring, and we had terrible rain and all my seeds washed, and this is like the only thing. I don't even know what it's called, but it's cute and I like it. And that right there is some Siberian wallflower. It smells a lot like a lilac. A lot of Siberian wallflower. I love Siberian wallflower. And then here's some of our Snapdragons that were also planted in May. And I started the seeds at the same time as I did the zinnias and the Echinacea. And yeah, they finally are blooming. They bloomed a little in the beginning of the summer, and then it got too hot for them, but they stayed alive, and they're now all blooming. I have them sort of running all through the flower garden. And then here's some oregano. That's Italian oregano. I've harvested off of it several times. We got a rogue violet right there. See that rogue violet? I'll have to pull him out. And then coming on over here is another example of a wildflower I dug out of my yard. I don't know what it's called, but it has a teeny tiny daisy. And they will start out white, turn pink, then purple, and I love them. And I have these running through my flower bed. Another Siberian wallflower, blooms yellow. Here's the lavender I planted this year, this spring, probably late spring, early summer, and this is its first year, so it won't flower till next year, but it is like tripled in size. Lavender grows. And then I got some rogue wood sorrel and some rogue, yes, I know what that's called, cress right there, and I'll pull that out and feed it to the rabbits. And then we've got some more lovely pansies. Just planted those a couple of weeks ago. Another wallflower. And then there's a ton of calendula. I cast seeds everywhere. I don't know if it'll make it before it frosts, but I cast them everywhere. And there's some baby calendula and a struggling Dusty Miller. And there's the calendula and tons of phlox. When it finally gets to where it's not, you know, as warm in the day, I'll cut the phlox back because I need to dig up my bulbs. And there's a little flower. It'll bloom sporadically when it has new growth. And there's a new little phlox flower, and that's creeping phlox. And then I have a big old hosta, just your garden variety hosta. That's going to be a variegated hosta, but it struggled too. And there's a little other Dusty Miller that struggle, because this Petunia variety, I can't remember if you can see that, whatever. But anyway, they kind of look like a Petunia, and I wanted something to help fight back stuff. So that's what I chose, and it choked out a couple of oxeye daisies and that little Dusty Miller. There's another calendula from reseed. And there's the hosta. A lot of cress right there. I'll pull that right up and feed that right to the rabbits. That's why I leave it alone. And then here is some lantana. This was new this year. I've always loved this flower. I think it's beautiful. Chris says that it will draw in some pests that you don't want, but the only thing I've noticed is I have tons of grasshoppers in here and locust type creatures this year with all of this jungle I've got going with the zinnias. But yes, that's lantana, and it is like growing crazy, and it's beautiful. And calendula and some sort of caterpillar right there on that calendula. See that guy? I don't know what he is, but I hope he ain't eating stuff. What are you doing, dude? But yeah, there you go. Caterpillar and a zinnia. Interesting. And another hosta. And then here is my fairy garden. And some more pansies. Deadhead that one. Some more pansies right there. Pansy. And then my fairy garden. I wanted a fairy garden for so long, and I didn't want it in a container. I wanted it plugged in, you know, hiding in amongst my flower garden. And so there it is. And then here is my little grow faith, and a piece of my heart lives in heaven for my mama. And some calendula from the summer that looks like it's still trying to grow. All of this is oxeye daisy, and this is an example of oxeye daisy. It's a good decongestant medicinal herb. And then this is parsley. There's some parsley growing right there. And then some more snapdragons started at the same time the other snapdragons were. And let's see, we've got a lot of stone crop growing. This is edible. I've never eaten it, but Chris says it's edible, but I love it. It's beautiful. They flower at different times. Some more calendula coming back. A couple of struggling pansies over there near that hosta. Struggling pansies. And then there's the other hosta. And a hydrangea. And another buttercup that I dug out of the yard. Some cilantro. My cool gazing ball. And then there's some more snapdragons that were done at the same time as the first ones we talked about. And there's another wild violet, dying back. This is a purple wild violet. This is a white wild violet. And there's some more pansies and some more calendula that's coming from the seeds. This is also a coneflower or echinacea plant that Chris got me these, and it was planted from a start. And as you can see, those leaves are super tiny compared to the ones I started from seed. So, you know, take what you will from that. And there's another Dusty Miller that actually looks decent. Some more oxeye daisy. And then there's some more oxeye, another buttercup, more stonecrop, pumpkins, more stonecrop. And right over there is one of my birthday presents. I used to have a bunch of Gerber daisies over here. That's actually an oxeye daisy in the picture. Look past the oxeye daisy at the green. That is a red Gerber daisy. I used to have a bunch of Gerber daisies in here that would come back, and one of them came back for like 5 years, and we think it's because this little area is surrounded on 3 sides by cement. So this ground right here stays really warm because of the thermal mass. So we think that that's why my Gerber daisies would survive the winter here in western North Carolina, because we do get pretty good hard freezes. So yeah, they had lived out their lives. I think I'd had one for 5 years, and then the other ones for like 3 and 4. But they finally bit it, and so Chris got me a new one for my birthday. And over there's some portulaca that's dying back. All the rest of the portulaca has finished up, and I've cast seeds everywhere. And let's see, so we saw the stonecrop. Let's look at this hydrangea. This, I bought it, it was a blue hydrangea, and I think it's like 5 years old now. No, 4 years old. It bloomed this summer, and it had pink and blue blooms on the same flower, and it was so cool. So that's one hydrangea, and then over here I have some azaleas that you can't exactly see due to the giant zinnias. These guys have struggled. Don't really know why. But over here is my other hydrangea. And if you look, this hydrangea is flowering. It did not flower this spring at all. It's the oldest of the 2 hydrangeas. It started out pink when I bought it, and then was blue the following year, and that's because I have very acidic soil. So there are that's the hydrangea over there. That is blooming. They're going to bloom. Some marigolds, regular marigolds, and then one that's fell over there, and then there's another echinacea back there, but it's also super tiny because of the there it is, super tiny, because it was a start as well. And you know, I did the other one from seed. This one was a start, probably forced, and so it shocked pretty hard. This one's a yellow coneflower or echinacea. And then there's some wallflower back there too, which is hard to see through everything else. But I have wallflower running through just about everything. Over here where there's not much, I've cast a lot of seeds. I don't know what I'm going to grow in this spot, but we'll figure something out. We always do. And then on the porch we have some purslane growing that needed to be planted a long time ago, but didn't happen. And then our aloe that came back from death, it was just a stump with one green sprout. We gave it more dirt, Chris repotted it eventually, and it's came back full force. We've probably had this aloe for 9 years now. And there's the pumpkins. And then these are my Shasta daisies. These Shasta daisies, I cut them back because they get 5 feet tall. They were marked as a 12 to 24 inch variety and just regular Shasta daisy flowers, and they get bigger than this, the flower itself. But I cut them back this year because they fall over and it's annoying. So that is pretty much the flower garden slash herb garden. We'll go around the house here and we'll take a look at the herb garden in a newer area. I've got a big old dandelion growing there. These are some hostas I moved to make more room in the front area. That is actually plantain. Look how big that plantain is. So I'm trying to keep it. It makes some really nice leaves. That one's been ate on, but I love that. And then there's some chickweed, which I'm also going to leave alone. I feed that to the rabbits. And here's some more calendula that came back from seed. I cast a lot of seed down here. More dandelion for the rabbits. There's some more plantain, chickweed, and some wood sorrel that I feed to the rabbits. Here's where I planted my garlic, and it's been infested with chickweed. And there's some more dandelion. I know, it's crazy. Most people would pull it up, but my rabbits love it. And then there's the dill. And there's a lovely big dandelion back there. Isn't that gorgeous? The rabbits love it. That's going to be part of their greetings tomorrow. That's like one-stop shop for the rabbits, because you've got dandelion, you've got cress, you've got chickweed, you got wood sorrel. Oh, and here's what those little daisy things look like when they get big in your yard. The ones that are little white daisies that turn pink then purple, which the foliage on the one I showed you looked terrible. But they're everywhere. And just some more chickweed. Back there's some ferns that just show up. And then here's a struggling oregano plant. Struggle. It likes it better in the front flower bed, so I'll probably move him. And then here's our mint plant. Oh, look, it's flowering. How beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? We must take a picture. And that's my mint. And that would be the end of the herb garden, which doesn't have a lot of herbs in it right now. But I'll be transplanting a lot of stuff from the rabbit garden because we've got to redo it. It just grass took it over again. So we're going to lay it on cardboard and see how that works out, like we did in the newer part of our perennial garden. So thank you for joining me for my lovely little garden, my little flower garden, herb garden tour. I hope you enjoyed it. That'll be it for us today here at the Blackpack Homestead. I thank you so much for joining me, and I thank you even more if you click that subscribe button wherever it may be on whatever device you are watching on. Please like our videos. If you have any questions or just want to say hi, please comment. We love your comments. We respond to every one. As soon as possible, because we don't have smartphones, so I actually have to log on a computer. So, you know, we respond to every comment, and we thank you for it. We would ask you again to share your videos with anybody that you think might like to learn the things that we teach on our homestead. This was more of a vlog style video, but, you know, it was fun. So again, I'll thank you for watching and subscribing and being a member of our Black Pack. I hope you have a blessed day, and we'll see you here next time at the Black Pack Homestead. Bye-bye.